My name is Neil Patel, and I help companies generate more revenue through digital marketing. Entrepreneur Magazine said I was the #1 marketer in the world, and they also said I created one of the 100 most brilliant companies. I started my first website at the age of 16. I took all the money that I earned from working at an amusement park, and I paid a marketing firm. The marketing firm provided no results, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone. Out of my frustration and from being broke, I had no choice but to learn marketing. My first client was a power supply manufacturer. I helped them generate another $25 million in sales, and from that point, I realized the power of marketing. I helped everyone that I could, and I built my reputation by being honest and over-delivering. I've helped companies like Google, NBC, Viacom, General Motors, eBay, but nothing's more satisfying than helping small business owners succeed. I founded 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and I've learned all the mistakes that you should avoid. I've written about them on Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Fast Company, and even on my own blogs. It's so awesome to know that colleges from all around the world are teaching my material in their classroom. Over the years, I've received awards from the President of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the United Nations. People believe marketing is expensive and difficult. Fortunately, that's not true. There is a formula. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, you can get results. And my mission is to share this formula with you. Hello everyone, my name is Neil Patel and we are going to start right now. We actually have quite a bit of slides. So today we're going to be discussing where the smart money is going. This is what's really working in 2024. People have their own, misconceptions when it comes to marketing, what the best channels are. So today we want to bring you data and show you what's really making companies money from a marketing standpoint and what's more so just sucking up the time. So my name is Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of NP Digital. We're a global ad agency. And today with us I have Eddie and Becky. Eddie, do you want to give a quick intro on yourself? And then Becky, you can do the same.
Yeah, sure. Nice to meet you. Eddie Yoon, and I'm the Senior Director of Paid Media at the agency.
And I'm Becky McManus. I'm a Senior SEO Strategy here at NP Digital US. I've been in the SEO world for about 9 years now, have a lot of experience in a lot of different industries. So excited to get started today.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, we're NP Digital. We've won a lot of awards, worked with a lot of different brands and companies throughout the world. We're growing at a still rapid pace. And today, when we're bringing you this data, keep in mind, we're seeing a lot of data, right? This is from real companies that are making substantial money. And the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you barking up the wrong marketing tree? Because all trees are not the same. We surveyed 118 different businesses in different verticals to see which marketing channels they're prioritizing and to see if the results justify their effort. Now, when we surveyed 118 companies, these weren't 118 companies that are making $1 million or $10 million. The minimum threshold was at least $100 million a year in revenue, if not billions of dollars. So we're looking at companies at scale because that means they're spending on marketing at scale to really see what's working and driving the ROI. When you look at what channels companies are spending their time on, the biggest one that is sucking up their time is organic social media. Then it comes down to paid ads, which makes sense. And then you have the other bucket, then SEO and email and blogging. But the question is what's driving the biggest ROI? And when we look at how much revenue each channel drives, look at organic social media, 2.3% on average. Now I'm going back to the previous slide here, 38.2% of the time spent, yet 2.3% of the ROI or the results or revenue, right? And you look at other channels like paid ads, makes sense. This is why Google and Facebook or Meta generate so much revenue. SEO makes sense. People Googling for something like buy a cheap laptop, you show them a cheap laptop, boom, you're off to the races and you're making money. You got to make sure your effort aligns with the revenue that's being produced. The big problem with organic social is TikTokification. If you look at TikTok, TikTok was a discovery network. Social networks long before used to be you have followers, we share your content to your followers, and other people similar to it. Now they don't care about followers. It's more about, is your content engaging? If it is, we show it to anyone who we think would engage. And people just keep skimming and skimming, and they just go next, 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 next. When we look at the brand recall, and we've done an interview after we did an interview on this. I'm actually going to pull up the stats. It's not here on my screen, but I can pull it up from X, because I did a post about this a few days ago. And the post was titled, sorry, I'm just trying to pull it up. Marketing isn't about gutter data. No, my number one rule marketing. There you go. My X post was titled, short form videos may get more views, but you're better off spending more time creating long form videos, right? So we did this test where we had people watch 15 minutes of long form video and 45 minutes of short form video. We didn't force them to watch any one of the specific videos. They could just skip. And if they didn't like the content, so they consumed whatever they liked. We did this with 100 people. And again, total watch time was 60 minutes. The next day we had them, or we asked them the question or questions around what they ended up seeing to see what they recalled. For the short form videos, they recalled 3.22% of the information. For the long form videos, they recalled 34.91% of the information, right? That's a big problem with social media. People just consume content, but they don't actually remember what they're consuming because a lot of it is short form videos. So where's the smart money going in 2024? And let's evaluate your ROI by making sure you're investing the right time, the right amount of resources in the right channels and platform. So when you think about attention doesn't always mean this is where the profit is. If you think about email, the average person spends 2 hours and 52 minutes on email, streaming 2 hours and 37 minutes, social media, 2 hours and 27 minutes, search engines, 15.4 minutes. But we all know there's a massive ROI in search, even though the amount of time spent isn't that high, both in SEO and paid ads, right? And when you look at the biggest revenue drivers for companies generating over 100 million in revenue, it's paid ads, then SEO, then email, then blogging. Those are the big revenue drivers. And you got to look at what channels work for you. This isn't going to be blanket data that works for everyone. It's going to be rough data that's average for most industries. Now, paid ads specifically here isn't just paid Google ads. These could be paid banner ads, paid social ads, right? Social media are great platforms and you should be on there. We're not saying don't spend time on it. You just got to budget the amount of time. But paid social is super effective from what we're seeing. And SEO also reigns supreme from an aspect of ROI. 93% of marketers said SEO positively impact their website performance and marketing goals in 2023. The reason being is with paid ads, you stop spending money. You don't generate any more income really after that, other than whatever your LTV is for the previous customers you had. But this doesn't mean SEO is better than paid ads or better than social or anything. You should spend wherever you can get a positive ROI. At our agency, NP Digital, we do email marketing, CRO, SEO, social organic, social paid. We literally do most of the channels that you're thinking of, right? We even do things like funnel optimization. But the goal is to spend wherever there is a ROI. And paid ads is one of those channels. Google would have never generated $238 billion in revenue if paid ads weren't profitable. Meta wouldn't be over 100. It's super effective channels from a revenue generation standpoint. And email, it continually works well. The ROI for email is continually going up and over time. This is why MailChimp is a $10+ billion company and was purchased by Intuit. It's because email works. This is why HubSpot has a market cap of over $30 billion, because email works. Is it sexy? No, but it really does work. And a lot of people are like, oh, email's dead. No, it's not. How many companies can survive without email? They can't. It's the one channel that most people check early in the morning and right before they go to sleep. That's how effective email still is, even though no one really talks about it. The ROI for email, they say in 2023 was, according to Litmus, it was $36 for every dollar spent. That's massive. That's a huge ROI. You're also seeing channels like social shopping that's on the rise. In China, this is massive right now, way bigger than it is in the US, but it's also growing in the US as well, and it'll continually increase over time. So now let's dive into channel-specific strategies to maximize your results.
So starting with Google, there's a reason SEO reigns supreme when it relates to ROI. People go to Google when they have a problem solve, which puts you in a unique position to provide direct answers to their problems, wants, needs. So first and foremost, in order to succeed is for both paid and organic, it's important to consider what appears for specific queries that you're targeting. More and more searches include special features like images and videos that you see here, based on what they're using or what they're looking for. So be sure your content strategy aligns with the overall user intent and take advantage of schema markup and things like that to help optimize for those feature spots.
Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. I just took a screenshot. I'm like, oh, this will make a good tweet.
SGE is also here to stay. The biggest change to Google SERPs as of recently is their search generative experience, which started rolling out publicly to a small subset of users in the US last month. 64% of searches now include SGE, whether it's collapsed or you have to opt in by clicking the button. So it's really important to pay attention to what types of searches are triggering these SGE responses, what type of content's being pulled into those snapshots, and what content's being linked to throughout those types of results in order to make sure you're optimizing your content and strategy accordingly. So even though the SERPs are constantly changing in appearance, the ingredients for success haven't really changed all that much. With the newest edition of E for experience, Google shows us that EEAT continues to be a critical framework for content strategies. With that being said, if you want to be an authority on specific topics, you need to be sure that you cover them exhaustively and answer all the questions people have about that topic to prove your expertise in the field. Capturing long tail searches is an important part of this. So we don't want to avoid long tail keywords just because they might have lower volume. You don't want to lose an opportunity to get in front of people who are further down the funnel and more qualified website visitors. Bringing personality to your content is a nice way to set yourself out from the rest. If you get to know your target audience and their needs, you can effectively create content that resonates with them and performs well in SERPs at the same time. While age, location, gender are important qualities to know about your audience, other qualities related to their specific personality traits, for example, can help you understand them on a deeper level. So these personas put the need of your customers first, which helps build trust overall. Building out personas also helps with mapping different journeys and content journeys, so you can have a better understanding of how to reach your audience with the content they want in the most effective way possible. A few examples of content that performs well are guides, first-party data, and thought leadership. When it comes to content, we want to stop, aimlessly following the leader and start creating content that's worth sharing and talking about. All of these types of content are great for generating backlinks, shares, mentions, and performing well in SERPs. Guides dive deep into a topic, giving your audience valuable information while helping you rank for more keywords. Typically, they include multiple pieces that ladder up to a larger guide surrounding an evergreen topic. First-party data sets your content apart from the rest by providing unique insights, making it more valuable and helpful, and helps demonstrate authority and creating trust with your audience. And then thought leadership articles are great and one of the most effective tools for establishing credibility, because it showcases your brand as a subject matter expert in a very particular field or topic. Videos, as we saw previously, are only going up in search features and being featured in search results. And as Neil had mentioned, people spend a lot of time watching videos online. And also YouTube is the second largest search engine and second most visited website in the world, just behind Google. with 62% of all Google searches, including video carousels and videos, being 50 times more likely to rank organically than regular organic text results. Video content provides a huge opportunity to reach audiences in a different way. When uploading YouTubes to video, be sure to optimize the title, description, just like you would for regular SEO and web pages, but also leverage tags and transcriptions to provide more context and relevancy. And when embedding them onto pages, be sure to use schema markup to explicitly provide more detailed information to Google. And if you have a lot of videos on your site, you can even consider creating a separate video sitemap to help Google find and understand those video pages more easily. And, aside from optimizing videos, we also want to make sure we're creating high quality video content on in-demand topics. It's not necessary to make videos for every single topic. People prefer to watch videos for some topics more than others. So to find, good topics to make videos on, take a look at what your competitors are publishing on their YouTube channels to get an idea of what's working for them. Analyze the SERPs in Google for some of your target keywords, or even on YouTube to see if they're heavily focused on video features, or what videos are popular on YouTube for specific topics. And you can use tools like vidIQ for YouTube specific keyword research, and other topic research tools like Answer the Public to help you discover, common questions and topics that people are searching for. In 2023, Google actually started shifting to product first results in SERPs, where they're trying to somewhat compete with other online marketplaces, which means it's getting harder and harder to rank organic web listings in e-commerce SERPs. As of recently, Google also started testing out tabs in e-commerce results in SGE, as you can see here in the screenshot. In the end, Google wants to provide the best browsing experience for their users. So it's more important than ever to fine-tune the optimization of your product pages and help them stand out from the competition. Google Shopping, you can optimize your product listings in Google Shopping and Google Merchant Center. Google Shopping is a Google service that allows users to search for products on online shopping websites and compare prices between different vendors. It's set up and managed through Google Merchant Center. As of April of last year, merchant listings are now able to be monitored in Google Search Console as well. To optimize for these types of listings, be sure to provide as much detail as possible, including your brand name. If it's a higher volume name, you want to kind of focus on that at the beginning of the title. If it's lower volume, you can put it towards the end. The type of product or the actual product name, the gender that you're targeting with the product, and other attributes like color, size, and so on. When it comes to titles, you want to be sure to leverage all the characters to take advantage of those spots, but make sure the most important information is included at the beginning, since they kind of get reduced to 70 characters for display purposes. And here are a few optimized title examples for e-commerce listings. While the first title is okay, it gets the job done, it tells you what the product is, the other titles add more valuable and helpful details as you go down, which makes it easier for people to see when they're browsing. And also helps Google understand more details about the listing in general with all the extra details about the product itself. So the more details that you can provide, that makes sense, the better when it comes to product listing titles. And structured data can really help improve visibility and organic conversions as well. Earlier this year, Google announced a new type of schema markup to help improve the search experience of users looking for specific products utilizing search modifiers. This includes like colors, sizes, features of the product. For example, someone looking for like a small navy long sleeve shirt will now be provided better results that match that intent. If you have products that come in different variations, leverage this new schema markup to improve visibility of different product detail pages and also improve conversions. Note that this new schema does require products to be separated through a type of identifier like product SKUs. And you don't want to stop with SEO either. You can definitely amplify your strategy in general with Google Ads. You can dominate even more SERP real estate with the ads to reach your target audience more precisely, leading to higher CTRs, conversion rates, and ultimately ROI. You can also use this this Ads Grader tool to get an in-depth campaign analysis if you already have campaigns running, so you can optimize your ad spend, increase your ROI, and reach your target audience more effectively by getting some nice insights. There are 5 key types of Google Ads to consider for your campaigns. Search ads are keyword-driven ads that appear on SERPs, typically above organic listings, but have actually recently been seen throughout organic results in general. Display ads present virtually engaging banners and visuals via the Google Display Network, which helps you reach people as they browse other websites, apps, and Google-owned properties like Gmail and YouTube. Shopping ads show users a photo of your product and information like the title, price, store name, etc., and they're displayed throughout Google Shopping, regular SERPs, images, maps, and other Google-owned properties. App campaigns, just like the name says, are to help drive app downloads throughout the Play Store and app stores. They also appear in regular SERPs, YouTube feeds, Google Discover, and other Google products. And then video ads can be included before, during, and after videos on YouTube. They could also be shown in YouTube search and home feeds. So all these different types of ads are great ways to target your audience where they're already looking for these different types of content. And Gemini is also Google recently announced the launch of a new natural language conversational experience within Google Ads powered by Gemini to help you kind of get started on your campaign creation. You can simply add a landing page and Google AI will summarize the page. Then it can generate relevant and effective keywords, headlines, descriptions, images, and other assets for your campaign. You can easily review and edit these suggestions before publishing. You can also ask AI for ideas for better performance. So really great way to, be more efficient about your campaign production. So in the end, for optimal campaign results, whether you're doing organic or paid or both or combo of both, you really want to listen to the data. You want to analyze the performance of past campaigns to see what did and didn't work, leverage AI to assist you in refreshing assets to be more efficient, and make sure you focus on lead quality rather than quantity when it comes to ROI and conversions in the end.
All right, let's dive deeper into social media. So here's the top social channels for marketing with the blue bar showing the ROI. Video-centric apps like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube will see the most growth in 2024, although Facebook is still the most used and ties with Instagram for the highest ROI. And the first success strategy, paid social ads. You need to focus on the user experience. It's also known as in-feed ads or non-disruptive media. These are passive. It allows your prospects to come to you rather than forcing your product or service on the consumers. So although invasive ads may get more reach and impressions, non-invasive ads are more personalized and tend to deliver higher returns. If you want to target the younger crowd, you need to be on TikTok. Here's the foundation. Get to know TikTok Ads Manager. It's constantly being updated. They even have an AI chatbot in there to literally do your research for you, find trending hashtags, write your scripts, give you full concept ideas, and they're also making it easier to pull reporting from the platform. One thing that's really important to remember about TikTok is that apparently over 90% of its users have sound on. So it's a really powerful way to grab attention because the music can set the tone, voiceovers can add details, and even sound effects can add an element of surprise as well. They also have a trending section. If If you want to get a pulse on the culture, you can see all the public videos in TikTok's creative library, literally see what video concepts are working for your competitors. If you want to increase reach and impressions, the choice to go with is Meta ads. The advantage here is that Meta has a network effect. There's Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and now Threads. You're probably seeing some of your favorite influencers or top brands literally being present on all of those different sub-channels right there. And Meta's algo is constantly improving. You can test messaging and creatives, variety of audiences, lookalikes are still working extremely well. And if you want to get more granular and technical, you can start analyzing the placements, and you'll often find that IG and Facebook Reels and Stories, they're very effective as well. For YouTube, as mentioned earlier, there's various ways to grab attention. Masthead ads, those are premium placements if your goal is to have the most reach in a single day. Discovery ads, those allow you to utilize longer form. You can tell a more complex story. Non-skippable ads for brand awareness, where your videos need to be between 6 and 15 seconds, and that's hosted on YouTube. Skippable in-stream ads. The main goal right here is to drive conversions, get video views, reach new users, but you can also add interactive features like CTA buttons, site link assets, product feeds. Just encourage your prospects to interact with your brand. Bumper ads, message reinforcement. It's bite-sized ads for engaging on-the-go mobile audiences. The most effective creative here is it's got to be simple and punchy, and you should focus on one key message.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, boy.
You should let that video play.
Mind your head. Wow. Yeah, I got cross-ratted. Yeah. All good, Nick?
Yeah, boy.
We're dropping.
Yeah, boy.
Have fun.
Okay.
All set?
We good?
Yeah. Let's get it.
So that was a really engaging ad. How many times have you seen that on your favorite social channels? And it almost forces you to keep watching it. And that's still what works. The stats are pretty impressive as well. 79% of people say UGC highly impacts their purchasing decisions. Consumers are finding UGC almost 10 times more impactful than straight influencer content. And also, these types of ads get 4 times higher click-through rates and 50% drop in cost per click. So we encourage you to test the personas in there, test different angles, and it's better to be authentic versus trying to make a full professional commercial. In terms of the platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are still the top ones, but the dark horse is LinkedIn. LinkedIn gets more influencers every single day. They're calling them linked influencers. They even announced thought leader ads where you can now have non-employees promote your posts for you. It's kind of like reviews, customer testimonials for brand awareness, promotion, and a really large trend that brands should be looking out for, even if you're B2B, is that UGC is going to be a rising trend as the year progresses. Social media optimization. This is a really important slide. So user behavior is changing compared to years ago. The graph on the left, 31% of consumers are using social media to get answers to their questions now. 12% are using AI chatbots like ChatGPT. The graph on the right shows the percentage of each generation that prefers to search on social media over search engines. So you'll see that 28% of millennials and 31% of Gen Z, they're preferring to search on social media. What's not shown here is Gen Alpha, and you can expect that percentage to be even higher. Even looking at Instagram comments today and threads on X, you'll see people directly asking questions in the comments, and the original post, they're going to be answering it straight in there. So that's becoming the norm. Years ago, that wasn't the case. Focusing on informational keywords, that's key. So there's 3 ways to take advantage of this. It's on image text for creative or video, headline copy, and when you're leaving comments for your audience, even right underneath your post. The keywords that it often starts with: who, what, where, when, why, how. But other informational keywords, it's how to, why, what is, benefits of, tips for. Encourage anyone watching this right now to scan the QR code. That gets you direct access to Answer the Public, or you can visit answerthepublic.com. Every month, we have over 20,000 companies using this platform. Why are they using this? Because it helps them discover the untapped gold mines of content ideas with useful phrases and keywords, questions that people are directly asking right now. Finding keywords for each platform. So this is really useful for creators if they want to keep on having an engaged audience. If you're a creator, influencer, or really any type of business that's working with influencers, you can type into Creator Search Insights, that's the search bar, and eventually this is going to be directly available in Creator Tools as well. You can sort by different categories: tourism, sports, science, or for you. You can also filter for content gap topics. So there's an opportunity to make content, especially if it's not that popular on some of your favorite platforms. And then on the right side, this still works. Very common practice is to go on YouTube, start typing away. It gives you auto suggestions and gives you a pulse on what your audience is actually looking for, and then you can make content around it. What's the ideal posting frequency for different platforms? So our team has analyzed over 330,000 social media accounts over 30 days. And this is generally what's going to work for you. For Instagram, if it's a post or reel, 1 to 2 times a day, stories 2 to 4 per day. If you're going live at least once a week, TikTok, 1 to 3 posts per day, LinkedIn, 1 a day, YouTube, good mix of 1 short and 1 long form per day. Facebook, it really depends. It's got to be quality that you should focus on. And it also depends on your vertical as well. And then for X, 3+ posts per day. There are exceptions. There's some LinkedIn creators who are finding success posting twice in a day, very early, and then towards the end of the workday. And then X is a platform to really look out for because they're constantly changing their algo as well. So what content should you be posting? For videos, as Neil mentioned, short form does really well in terms of hooking you in. But if you want to have a loyal follower base, you need to have long form as well. That's something that really works hand in hand with both of those. TikTok started the trend, and then IG Reels, YouTube Shorts, but you're probably still finding yourself watching those 10+, 15+ videos on YouTube. And there's plenty of you that are just trying to analyze what your audience is doing, but this is what works even on text. It's how to and listicles. Another reason is really because it forces your viewer to absorb and read from top to bottom, and it attracts a lot of comments. There's always a group of people that's going to have opinions on how to and listicles, and engagement is going to help your post go viral. What about jumping on platform-specific trends? So a couple years back, TikTok was even encouraging a lot of its user base to make photo-based posts, promising higher engagement. This started back in October 2022, and they've also kept on adding new features. Photo mode for still images in stream. They've been running promos and pop-ups around its carousel function. A really big update here is that they launched a separate app. It's called TikTok Notes last week, and it's what they're calling a photo sharing app. It's in limited testing right now in Australia and Canada, but it's something to keep monitoring on your end. Influencer partnerships. So this goes back to our previous discussion on UGC ads. They continue to work very well. And it's just more stats that support it. 1 in 4 consumers bought a product based on an influencer's recommendation. 50% of marketers who use influencers, they're planning to increase their investment in 2024. So if you're not using UGC, it doesn't matter what vertical you're in. We're seeing success, whether you're B2C, B2B, for every type of industry. But what types of influencers should you be working with? So one strategy that we've seen work very well is to focus on micro influencers. That's anyone with 1,000 to 100,000 followers. Many brands have actually seen more success if they work with a group of micro influencers and they plan a launch sequence versus one well-known macro influencers. Of course, long-term relationships, they're always going to be important so that your influencer constantly creates more natural videos for you. And it's not just a one-off video that sounds very robotic and unnatural. And lastly, you should always give them creative control. You can give them legal, general script, hook ideas, but they need to fill the gaps with their own personality. And those are the most successful. You got to be careful though. So here's a cautionary tale with an example from Tarte. So Tarte Cosmetics, they had a campaign that sponsored about 30 influencers for a trip to Bora Bora. The trip consisted of showing flights on private jets, 4-night stay at the Four Seasons, and they got other gifts. As you can imagine, there was a lot of backlash because of the way it was presented. The big lesson here is that consumers want relatable stories and connections, and virality is not always positive. So from the marketing side, you have to understand that influencers are not the only creators with impact on social. You can get disappointed customers and they're just as likely to get their post visible as well. I mean, how many times have you seen a negative video from the public about a company's misstep go viral on X or IG? So it's good to have a little bit of awareness sometimes with some of your larger campaigns and just make sure that you're connecting with the everyday experience as well. All right, setting up shop. So social media is the #1 product discovery channel for Gen Z and millennials. And this is a very important concept right here because it's not just about Amazon. You need to be everywhere. Facebook shops, marketplace, IG shops, even TikTok has their own shops that they're promoting. Livestream is something that they're trying to translate over from the East over to the States, and also Pinterest. There's always new updates on Pinterest, and you can become a verified merchant as well. You really should take serious notes on Pinterest because they're growing a lot. Their monthly active users jumped to almost 500 million with 11% year-on-year growth. That was the report from Q4 of last year. Back in February, they actually announced a new ad deal with Google. It's mainly focused on international markets by enabling ads to be served on Pinterest via Google's ad manager. But you have to also keep in mind that Pinterest and Amazon, they signed a multi-year deal last year as well. All right, the 5th strategy, personalized messaging. So we always recommend that your brand communicates with the customer journey in mind. So you may be calling this integrated marketing, but what we're really thinking about this and what we've seen from our clients' most successful campaigns is that you're speaking the exact words that your audience has been talking about in terms of pain points and what they're trying to solve, but they haven't been able to find. And the stats support all of this. So 87% of marketers, they plan to keep increasing their investment in mobile messaging through channels like SMS, Messenger, and WhatsApp. Really popular platform is something like attentive.com. 56% of retailers, they report that they get the highest ROI from personalized messaging. So when Neil was talking about email marketing, it's because that's one of the most personalized ways of doing it. You can imagine how effective text can be as well. The stats on the right continue to support it. The ROI is incredible. And that's what our email team at the agency has been focused on. And we only expect it to keep growing. And what about chatbots? So you might still be using ChatGPT, but don't forget about Meta. There's 300,000 chatbots in Facebook Messenger right now. E-com stores that have implemented Facebook Messenger and an abandoned cart chatbot are seeing a 7 to 25% boost in revenue. And conversations between brands and customers through Messenger, they generate 30% better ROI than retargeting ads. Last week, Meta released Meta.ai. You can test this right now. You can either go directly to Meta.ai, or eventually you're going to see this through all the posts on Facebook feed. If you come across a post that you're interested in and you want to learn more, you can tap on the CTA. That's going to be next to the post. And you can ask Meta's chatbot for more info right in the feed.
So now let's talk about email marketing. See, with email, both Google and Yahoo made a change that was in February of this year. They said, if you're sending out 5,000 plus emails a day, not necessarily consistently throughout a whole month, but even if you're just sending out 5,000 emails plus in a day, if you don't have these 4 things, you're not going to get delivered in the inbox or get delivered at all, and they don't care anymore. Because people are fed up with email spam, so they want to make sure that you're authenticating DKIM, SPF, DMARC. You also need to have a one-click unsubscribe option. You also have to honor when people emailing you saying, hey, please remove me from my list. You have 2 days to remove them from the list. And you got to maintain a spam compliant rate of 0.3 or less. Ideally, they want under 0.1. So just keep this in mind. This is really important because we believe that more providers are going to get strict like this. And yes, a lot of this stuff is basic and you should have been doing this for years. But just keep this in mind because now these are hard rules in which if you don't follow them, you're not going to get your emails delivered. And when we look at 2024, there's 5 main email trends to really watch out for, right? The first is using generative AI to save time on content creation. What's really cool about generative AI is you can also more easily personalize the content, which gets into number 2 as well, because we're seeing that boost conversions. The third one is you got to segment, and you can't just segment once. This is the big mistake we see businesses make. They're just like, okay, let's put them in buckets like geography. Oh, we segmented. Cool. Now let's just send out emails to different lists. You can't keep doing that. You got to keep tweaking your segments. You got to keep testing different things on the segments to figure out what's working and how you should slice and dice your list. The fourth one is B2C brands are more experimental in their emails, and B2B companies have an opportunity to catch up. We're seeing B2C companies do things like, hey, let's put countdown timers in the emails and align based on when they open up the email or a specific time. Well, B2B emails, they're not leveraging a lot of the tools at their fingertips, which can also help them generate more sales. And a great example of this is if you're doing a Black Friday offering, which a lot of B2B companies do, you can also have a countdown timer in your email as well. And the fifth one is you got to continually try new tactics. For example, in the e-commerce vertical, a lot of companies are now doing it where you can purchase within the email. So within the email that you get for, let's say, a t-shirt like I'm wearing, you can select the size in the email and check out all within Gmail without leaving the site. Now we're seeing the conversions for the people opening up the emails work way better for those kind of emails where the flow is better. You don't even have to leave the email client, but we're seeing the deliverability not as good. So it ends up roughly evening out. But through tweaks and testing, hopefully you can get the deliverability up, and then the conversions are there for the people who are opening them up. You also want to use dynamic content to personalize at scale. I talked a little about this, about using AI to help modify your emails and make it more custom. It's not just about putting someone's name in an email. People believe like, oh, I'm going to personalize and just put their first name in there. Yeah, but that's basic. It doesn't really drive that many more conversions by just including the person's name, like being like, hi, Neil, hi, Bob. It genuinely doesn't boost conversions that much. Personalization more so, if I'm on Amazon and I have a dog and they start sending me cat products, that's terrible personalization. But if they know I have a dog and I just bought a new dog bed and a cage and all this, and they know, hey, Neil just probably bought a new dog based on his buyer patterns, well, they may want to show me dog treats that I would love, right? That's a good example of personalization. And they'd be like, hey, Neil, did you just buy a new dog? If so, check out these things that new dog owners love buying for their new dogs because it just makes them so happy and healthy, right? That's a great example of personalization. And especially if you can do that at scale, you'll see a lot more revenue from that. Some dynamic ideas for you to test out. You can see some on the left. My favorite is the countdown timer in an email. That works really well. My second favorite is letting them purchase within the email as well. And you're automatically on the fly adjusting inventory, size options, etc. Another one that I love in an email is nearest store based on the map and based on their IP. That's really cool if you have local brick and mortar stores as well. So some key takeaways. Look, there's ROI in many channels. Look at what's producing the highest ROI and where you're spending majority of your time and money, of course, and optimize it to make sure it aligns and it makes sense. Don't be afraid to try new channels. Just because some of your existing channels have amazing ROI, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't stop experimenting and trying new channels, because you may end up landing on another channel that does really well. Or maybe your golden goose that's producing most of your ROI stops producing what you're looking for a year from now because the algorithm changes or competition and stuff that you can't control. We also have an upcoming webinar on May 7th. It's pretty much pick my brain. It's going to be mainly me presenting, or I think it's actually only me presenting. And you can pick my brain on SEO, AI, etc. But in this webinar, I do a lot of phone calls with people. I get a lot of emails. And most of the questions I get asked, which are unique, and a lot of people don't ask me, funny enough, through the webinar, but they do ask me over email and social. I'm going to be answering these questions in the webinar plus more. So then that way you can get answered a lot of the issues that you're facing in your marketing and the issues that we're seeing around the whole, marketing industry. And if you implement them, you should start seeing better results. We also at NP Digital specialize in all channels, not just SEO, not just paid ads. We literally do all of them. As you can see here, when the team, like Eddie is speaking about social media and specific things about Pinterest, it's because we're not reading about them. Sure, yes, we're keeping up to date, but we're actually leveraging these channels, implementing them successfully for our customers as well. Or you can just go to npdigital.com to book a call, or you can scan that QR code right there. So let's dive into some questions.
Great stuff. Hello, everyone. Colin Cornwell, a part of Neil's marketing team. I'm going to just start from the top. We got about 8 minutes and we've got tons of questions. So the first one's going to Becky. Becky, a lot of talk in the SEO industry about backlinks losing importance as a ranking factor. Give us the scoop there. Are backlinks still an important ranking factor? What are your thoughts?
Great question. Yeah. Google had recently come out saying, backlinks aren't as important as they used to be, et cetera, but they still are very, very important. They might not be one of the top 3 ranking factors anymore, but they are definitely still top ranking factor and still very important to consider as part of your SEO strategy, especially with the rollout of SGE. A lot of the sources that are pulled into and referenced in SGE snapshots are based on, backlinks and Google understanding what is popular and talked about and mentioned across the web. So backlinks are still very, very important.
Awesome. I figured as much. A lot of questions about what is SGE, Search Generative Experience. Also, a lot of folks call it the Search Generative Engine. So it can kind of be interplayed there. Next one's for Eddie. There are a lot of B2B questions, and one that I saw more than once is how effective are, looks like, paid social ads or just social ads in general for B2B lead gen. Any thoughts on that?
Extremely effective. Our global clients, we've seen them have a media mix of LinkedIn and even translating that over to Facebook. And we're even starting to expand more on TikTok as well. So if you're a B2B brand and you're only on LinkedIn, you are missing a huge opportunity.
So lots of news lately about TikTok. It looks like something may have just passed the House and/or Senate. Any thoughts, real quick, Eddie, on TikTok possibly being banned in the U.S.?
Yeah, our team has been looking at this very carefully over the past couple months and even the past couple years. And our advice has always been to prepare a backup plan in case any social platform goes down. So the safest recommendation we have is if worse comes to worse, then have the plan B, have the plan C. Otherwise, if there's any major updates, then our team will send it out on our socials as well.
Awesome. Yeah,
and they're unlikely to ban TikTok. What they're going to do is they're going to force a sale. You're going to still see a TikTok. If they say they want to ban it because it's owned by a Chinese entity, it'll quickly be owned by a US entity because you're going to have buyers lined up. And a business person isn't going to say, let me take this 20, 30, 40, $50 billion asset, whatever it is, $100 billion asset, and let it just go to zero, right? People are going to say, oh, we'll just take it over. We're Microsoft, we're Oracle, we're Walmart. Sure, we'll buy it. And the last time this happened, you had Oracle, Walmart, and quite a few others lining up to saying, sure, we'll just put in the money, right? Because right now, it's hard for them to buy something like TikTok. They'd be like, oh, it would be, you would have monopolistic issues, anti-competitive issues, or whatever you want to call them. But in situations like this, it'd be like, sure, no problem. Buy it, take it. It's state run. You do something wrong, we're going to come after you, Walmart or Oracle or whatnot, because you're in our backyard. That's what's realistically going to happen. Don't worry about it being banned. It's probably just going to get a new owner.
Probably. I think you're right, Neil. While we have you, Neil, this one's for you and Eddie. Do we know how, so there's lots of survey data in these webinars, and one of the questions was, do we know how respondents measure ROI on organic social? Any just sort of directional tips on how organic social might be influencing the return on investment? Could start with you, Neil, and then Eddie pile on.
People look at it very differently depending on the business type. So you have some people who do brand recall studies to see where people first came from, or ask people, hey, how'd you find us or hear about us? You also have things like sending them directly to an email list and then getting them opt-in and then seeing how many of those people are converting. You also see people pitching directly on social media through things like lives or stories and saying swipe up to go and purchase, and they're tracking these kind of things. You also have links in social media. You can track it from there. You have people using social media for webinars and sending them. So it depends on your conversion point, but there's many different ways that you can end up tracking. It's not perfect. Just like with most channels, the tracking is never going to be perfect, but it directionally gives you an idea.
Eddie, anything to pile on there? That was great. Thank you, Neil.
Yep. I mean, that's why you're seeing a lot of the terms attribution and incrementality testing popping up, and measured, Rockerbox, Northbeam. Those are starting to gain a lot more traction as various sources for tracking and understanding the entire lift.
All right, let's see, what else do we got here? They're kind of coming in as we talk. Neil, how do you encourage UGC for service-based companies? That was another question that came up. Product marketing versus like service marketing. Any tips on how you would encourage UGC for service-based businesses?
Sure. So a great example of this is testimonials. User-generated content, like, oh my God, my roof was leaking. Like, check this out. And I couldn't figure out how to fix it. But then, I called this company, they fixed it. Look at, my living room or whatnot. Or another simple example is like, man, look how much I was paying on taxes. Then I checked out TurboTax from Intuit, and look how much I saved. This is ridiculous. Simple thing, solve this problem, right? Who would have ever guessed? Like those are examples of UGC type of content.
All right, next one. Eddie, what is an example of an invasive social media ad?
Yeah, so this phrase really originates from back when pop-ups came up, right? Now the term kind of means, honestly, if you have a bad ad, right? It's invasive at this point. If you don't even have a good hook, if the video is really bland, if someone looks at it, they cover your page and they are unable to identify what brand that's even coming from. So if you want to trend away from that, it's really taking the risk and being more liberal. There's too many times that we're seeing even some of the largest brands in the world, they're being way too conservative. So it's the time to take risk. It's the time to use music that you wouldn't have done before, and to start creating a gap between you and your competitors.
Thank you, Eddie. Last one, Neil. I'm an old school magazine publisher. I'm lost when it comes to all of these things and concepts, excuse me. Where do I start? Any tips on old school marketers looking to expand their digital horizons?
Yep. Look at your team, look at where their biggest strength is, and start with those channels. So that could just be taking some of your content, posting it on social, or it could be taking some of that content and posting it in a blog post. Focus on what is the biggest strength of the team. Like if you're like, man, we got some really amazing visual editors. Well, consider using social first, because that could be their strength. Or you could be like, man, we got some really amazing writers because we're a print magazine. Well, hey, do you have an engineer on staff who can just whip up a WordPress instance and start publishing some of that content online, right? So start wherever you have the skills and the talent to just help you out.
Great answer. That's all we have time for. Top of the hour. Thank you so much, Neil, Becky, Eddie, and everyone.
Appreciate everything, everyone. And if you need help with your marketing, check out npdigital.com. We look forward to working with you guys.
My name is Neil Patel, and I help companies generate more revenue through digital marketing. Entrepreneur Magazine said I was the #1 marketer in the world, and they also said I created one of the 100 most brilliant companies. I started my first website at the age of 16. I took all the money that I earned from working at an amusement park and I paid a marketing firm. The marketing firm provided no results, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone. Out of my frustration and from being broke, I had no choice but to learn marketing. My first client was a power supply manufacturer. I helped them generate another $25 million in sales, and from that point, I realized the power of marketing. I helped everyone that I could, and I built my reputation by being honest and over-delivering. I've helped companies like Google, NBC, Viacom, General Motors, eBay, but nothing's more satisfying than helping small business owners succeed. I founded 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and I've learned all the mistakes that you should avoid. I've written about them on Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Fast Company, and even on my own blogs. It's so awesome to know that colleges from all around the world are teaching my material in their classroom. Over the years, I've received awards from the President of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the United Nations. People believe marketing is expensive and difficult. Fortunately, that's not true. There is a formula. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, you can get results. And my mission is to share this formula with you.